Hey everybody, Al Spath here, back on Positive Poker Insiders, and I'm here with Eric and Nick from Baltimore. Eric is from California ways. He's Jedi Master at the table. The star under his name indicates where he's sitting. He just sat down at this 10-cent, 25-cent table on Full Flush Poker, and this is the second part of the series between the two. Last week, Nick sat from Baltimore, and then Eric actually got to sit at the table a little bit while he was shadowing, but we're up at 10 cent, 25 cents today. And how's it been going since last week? First, we'll go with you, Eric.
Not bad. Yesterday wasn't very good. A guy sucked out on me to take my stack. I had pocket queens. He had ace 8 and hit a straight on the river.
Well, that's going to happen. You don't have any control over the cards. The thing is, if you get your money in with the best hand and somebody beats you because they get lucky, that's, you're trying to get your money in good, is what they say. And so anytime you can do that, it's tough. It's hurtful when they beat you, but you got to take the good with the bad, and sometimes that's going to happen. But you got it in where they had to get lucky to beat you, right?
Yeah, I understand it happens, and, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just one of those things in poker.
That's right, that's right. And how about you, Nick? Have you played any since last week?
I have.
How you been doing?
Pretty good actually.
What have you been playing? Nickel dime or 10 cent 25?
Yeah, nickel dime.
And have you had a couple of good sessions?
Yes, I actually I'm up like $20.
Okay, okay. So you're trying to slowly build your bankroll back up then?
That's right.
And was there anything from last week's session that you're doing differently, or anything that you eliminated that we talked about?
Yes. I'm like not playing ace jack and ace 10 type of hands anymore from like small blinds and stuff.
And how about an early position? Did you see ace jack get beat a lot from early position?
Yes.
It's not a great hand. If you're playing six player tables, it's okay. But when you're playing 10, like you're playing here, and a lot of people will see with just about any two cards, any two suited cards or anything like that, it's very tough to
Right.
outlast everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Eric, you're gonna have to tell us what you have, whether you're throwing it away or not, so we can get an idea what you're playing, what you're not playing.
Okay, I have ace 8 off,
Okay,
and I'm folding.
that's the hand you just lost with to queens, right? Your queens
Yeah.
to ace 8.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
um, There's a little Nola Bruce there, just made a little min raise there. You got to be watching when you're not playing, and just see what kind of cards. If you get to see what somebody's doing when they do that, is that an ace 10 hand? Is that a pair of of threes? Is it something like 5-6? Is it ace rag? What kind of hands do people make min raise? And you got to identify those kind of people, because you got to take advantage of any mistake that anybody makes at the table.
I have 3-2 off. I'm folding.
All right. So Mitzi there puts $1 in, pretty early position. I would say that's early position here, a 10-player table. For now, Nagopoulos, instead of re-raising, which I would recommend, if he was going to play that hand, I would say he should have went to $3 or $2.50 or something and put the pressure back on Mitzi man, and he has position. But he elected just to call. He gains nothing that way. He may invite Stay Classy into the pot. He doesn't identify his hand other than he needs help. He's not saying his hand is super strong. He quickly called there, so probably some type of an ace. Wow. And he's gone. But that's because he played it so passively, though, didn't he?
I have 8-7 suited.
Okay. See, I don't like that bet.
I tried to raise pot.
Yeah, but there's no small blind.
Oh, you're right.
That's what happened. Excuse me, I gotta sneeze. Woo! Pardon me.
Is pot enough there in early position, or do you like
Yeah, no,
maybe
it
dollar?
it depends on what you have. And with those kind of hands, you said you had like 7-8 suited?
Yes.
Yeah. I like to control the pot. I like to keep it pot size bet, and I can get away from if somebody, there's a lot of people left. If somebody three bets me, I can get away from it. I don't like to make a big bet there just because I've got a little weaker hand.
So I'm gonna bet 3/4 pot.
Okay.
See what's happening out there.
Yeah. Well, you've got the first person. When the first person checks like that, you should be in good shape.
Okay. I'm gonna come in with another 3/4 pet.
That's right. I don't think you have to go a full pot here. The pot's big enough. He's looking for a club and he got it, isn't he?
Yeah.
Leo the Lion runs it down.
This guy gives me fits every day, I'm telling you.
Yeah, you got two pair, but it doesn't make any good. He got his club.
Yeah, I tried to stay with it and apply the pressure.
Nah, he wasn't gonna go anywhere. He's very loose. He's very aggressive. He's very he's a gambler. He's not a poker player. He plays poker, but he's not a poker player really. He's a gambler more than he's a poker player. He knows what he's doing, but I think he spends too much money chasing people down most of the time. He'd have bigger wins. I call him Butter. He's from Land O'Lakes. That's where he's from, and that's where we buy our butter in the store, Land O'Lakes. I just nicknamed him Butter.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a bad 25-cent bet there. I don't like that at all.
I watch him quite a bit, and I notice most of the time he's playing like 10 tables at a time.
He plays a lot. He had jacks. He was unsure of that ace. He told me right away that he didn't like that ace. Now, whether or not, if I was in that hand, I could have got him to fold the jacks, that's another thing. But he told me he didn't like that ace.
Yeah.
But whether or not he had enough sense to just get out of there, that's another thing. Got Kripney at the table, too. I see Jerry up there get next to Nagopoulos. So you got a couple of Sharpies at the table here tonight.
Yeah. I have 10-4 suited.
Okay. Nick, you want to chime in anytime about anything that is going on here? You just go ahead and let us know what you're thinking.
I'm folding.
Okay.
Nine, 6 suited.
Now you're running some bad cards right now. There's a limp under the gun from Bob. The Kripney doesn't get involved at all. See, I like to just watch the board and think out loud to myself. See another limp, and I keep saying to myself, these are people that are just trying to get in and see the flop cheap and then connect with something. They're set mining. They're trying to catch flush or straight or something like that. And then Leo steps in and says, I got ace king or ace queen or ace jack, or I've got king queen suited, or I got a pair. He steps up to the plate and makes a big bet. So check. Leo should be betting the pot or about $3 here. I don't think.
I've noticed that if everyone limps, he'll come over the top even if he's bluffing
That's a good observation.
to steal.
Yeah.
Or to try
See, there's no reason he would bet there with a queen. There's no reason he would bet there with a queen. That's silly. So there's no way I'd put him on a queen there.
I have pocket kings.
All right. Here we go. Action hand. Let's get somebody else to do some raising for you, though.
I hear you.
Got position and the second best hand in poker. If you're looking for somebody to make this $1 and somebody to call them, and you should be thinking now about what size bet you want to make.
Okay, we got 4 people in the hand besides me.
Don't time out.
I'm going to come in at a $1.10 pot bet.
Okay? So that means it's going to cost them 85 cents to call you. What if you limped? Would you call a raise on the button for 85 cents if you limped, or would you call it if it was 65 or 70 cents? That's the question you have to ask yourself. What is the number that you would call? What is the number that you can get one of them to call you? This is an $8 person. It's very unlikely they're going to call you. Oh, that's what you want.
Right. Now I'm not sure if I flat him or call him all in.
Well, that's up to you. They put 311 of their $5.59 left. So what do you think they're going to do, no matter what you do?
Right.
Hurry
they're gonna-
up! Hurry up! Yeah. Unless he slimped with aces. Nope, he left with queens. He tried to set you up. Atta boy.
Wow, nice one.
Atta boy. Yeah, you got to look at the stack size of your opponent. And they make a big bet like that, and they commit themselves. They're telling you they've got a hand they're going all the way with. So get it in. Don't let that. If you call there, here's what happens. Are you playing here?
I have Queen Jack off. Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
play first in.
All right. He's playing lots of hands. He's not. You know, decrypting doesn't pay attention sometimes at some tables, and he was just letting it count down. You playing?
I have pocket threes.
Okay, okay, we'll watch this thing. But what happens on that last hand, if you would have flatted him, which would have been wrong, the flop would have came, the money would have got in. But what if an ace or a king would have flopped? He would have shut down maybe, and then, or
I wouldn't
give
have
him-
had a chance to
he
get
wouldn't have had a chance to get the rest of his money. So get it when you can get it. If he has aces, he has aces. You're already gonna, you're gonna call the three, and it's only $5 more. You might as well take the shot at it.
Absolutely.
So your pair of threes, you came in and you got a quick NOLA call.
Sure. I'm gonna 3/4 bet it to see, well, let me see.
Attaboy, think about it.
Um, I'm gonna come in with just a half pot bet.
I was hoping that you were gonna say a full pot bet.
Hmm.
That's what I was hoping you were gonna say.
Gotcha.
Get them the hell out.
Not sure how to play this here.
Do something. You win. He's got overcards. So you're not gonna get him out, so you just check it. He's got overcards. See.
Wow.
But you're doing it backwards. When you get one or two opponents and you want them out like that, do the whole pot. Then
Okay.
the pot's big enough that on the next card you can do the 3/4.
I have 8-3 suited. I'm folding.
Does that make sense to you too, Nick?
Yeah, it does.
If you want them out, and like that particular hand, you got the two of them, make an emphatic statement on them. You know, I'd rather you see you fire once, and then if they come over the top of you, I'd rather you see you, bail out then with that one bigger bet than put a little bet in, and then put another one the next time. So you've given them twice as much money almost, and you haven't found anything out, and then you still lost.
Okay, my thought was put a feeler bet out to see if they hit anything and would come over the top.
That feeler bet's just going to get you into trouble. You want to take it down. You have nothing. You don't really have a redraw. You got 2 threes that can help you. The only 2 cards in the deck. You're not going to get there, so you want to end it.
Okay.
Now,
So
if you had an overpair to the board and then you want to do a feeler, that's a different story. But when you have nothing or you have a little bit, you want to end it.
Okay, I understand.
What I like to think of too is if I'm in a hand that I've raised and I'm in with 3 people and the first person check, I definitely want to fire that big bet because I'm only concerned about the second person, the next person behind me. The first person already checked, so if I can make it big enough, they're out. If I make it 3/4 or half or something, and then the other person comes in, then that first person that checked may think about coming in. And I don't want to give them any kind of odds to come back in if I don't have anything.
Makes sense. I have 7-5 suited. I'm folding.
Do you first?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna do what you do.
Okay.
Change
I
my
just
mind.
wanted to ask you first. I wasn't telling you what to do, but absolutely, if you're in that later position, these kind of cards, now you got a bunch of callers, so you're going to have to really hit something here. It's not going to be easy to get rid of these guys, especially the 3 people that called you. That flop hit somebody, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's what we call pretty wet. You think of hands that people play, the Queen Jack and the Queen 10 and the King Queen and the Ace 10 and the Ace Jack and the King 10 and all 10 9. There's quite a few combinations when two cards in the Broadway zone hit. So, you tried it for 60 cents. It didn't work. You don't need to compound it with four opponents. There's no reason for you to do a C-bet there. Stryker was asking me that this morning, Christine from up in, where was she from? Kentucky. She was asking about C-bets, and that's a good example. Is that you don't really need to do a C-bet there. I don't think you'd have worked. You could have re-raised that person, and you probably would win only if they were donk betting it, trying to just take it away from you. But, you
Three,
you
three
don't need it.
times their bet, or
What's that?
would you have gone 3 times what they bet?
Yeah, if you were going to try to take it away from him, when he came out betting into you, you should have, if you wanted to, you could have came, over the top by 3 times. Absolutely. That's a very bad board here. That really brings in a lot. That brings in the Queen King. That of course brings in the clubs. It brings in the 7-8, which already would have flopped a straight, and then person has just maybe the Queen sticks around, tries to hit the card on the end. It's very, very, unusual for somebody not to be playing hands like 10 Jack, and that was just a 9, which is not very good at all. That was a big blind.
9-3 off.
Yeah, you just gotta watch the texture of these flops and things like that. That dictates how things go. Now, the Cripney, if he was first one in here has to be a raise. If there's a limp, then you know that they're weak and they don't know how to play poker. That's the right bet. Probably a little high. Probably doesn't want to call. So I'm going to think that FY, I'm not going to give FY an ace king, ace queen designated type. I'm going to say that they're a little lighter than that. Maybe king jack, maybe ace 9, maybe a pair of 6s or something like that. Let's see what happens here with FY 989. I'm just basing it on their position and the size of their bet. This should be about $2, maybe a little bit more. A check would be a bad idea here.
That would show weakness, right?
It would show a lot of weakness, yeah. Now, if either one of these stay in, they've either got the 5 or they got a club draw. I don't think they're staying in with anything else. No, we won't see what he has, but if he did have something like ace 9, he had top kick, 2 pair.
7-3 off.
This goes fast. I mean, we're playing 10-handed, but I'm talking pretty fast here, and you guys are following pretty good and things like that. But when you play the recording back, you can stop, and I would recommend anybody that's watching this up on YouTube to think about that. When you go through the videos that I've produced, go ahead and use the stop button. After a while, after you think you've understand the game and you think you know what's going on, just use the stop button when Al gets his cards or when his client gets his card to see if you can think of what Al's going to say or what the person does, and if it's right or wrong. See if you can just think along the same line. So use the stop button, then play it, see what happens, then stop it on the flop and think about what you would do, and then see how close you are to taking a certain line. It doesn't mean that what I'm saying or what if I'm playing or what Eric's saying is absolutely the only way you can play a hand. It's saying here's a way to play it or not to play it, and you need to just learn from that and add it to your toolbox. The reason we're called Positive Poker Insider is because we want you to think positively about winning, we want you to have a positive experience, and we want your money and your bankroll to go positive, not negative. That's the whole idea with Positive Poker Insiders.
Queen 6 off.
Right. And I'm happy to announce that on Facebook, I have a Positive Poker Insiders page up now, so you can, come to that page. And then on Twitter, it's Positive Poker Insiders, spelled this way: POSPOKR Insiders with an S. So POSPOKR Insiders, and you can Follow us now on Twitter. What do you have?
Queen 6 off.
What are you going to do?
Fold.
Okay, wait. Why might I ask you what you're going to do? Don't have to do it. Think about it. If the person puts a bet out there that's bad, like he put a quarter out there, he wanted to see what you. If you raise that to $1, you're going to win that money.
Should I have not have let him limp?
No, you'll let him limp like that. Don't just when somebody does that to you, raise it up there and say, no, you're not limping here, and I'm taking it away. I've got a better hand. I got better position. So if there's money out there, take the money.
I hear you. I have ace 5 suited. Fold.
Good fold. Now most people are going to, especially people starting out, are going to say, oh, I got to play that hand because it's a suited ace. You're still out of position and you're facing a raise of somebody else. So if an ace comes, you're going to get in trouble. Unless you have, a great flop and it's 118 to 1 that you're going to flop 3 your suit. So it's not likely you're going to do that, although it happens. What was your suit that time?
Hearts.
Oh, you would have flopped 2 of them anyhow. That would have been pretty good, but you never know what happens. You're still going to be only going to get there 36% of the time. If you flop the 2, you got 9 outs times 4 using the rule of 4 and 2. You're only going to get there a third of the time, 36%, a little over a third of the time. That's not good odds when you're paying even money with somebody that's raising.
I had Queen 4 off.
So it doesn't make sense to draw in those situations. TWNSKLL2 is with us tonight. That's good. Along with Nick from Baltimore. And how much snow did you get down in Baltimore? We got about 3 inches or maybe 4 inches up here in Harford County.
Here it wasn't a lot, probably an inch or so.
Is that right? And Eric out there in California, how much snow did you get today?
Just sunshine and 72 degrees.
You sucker, you. You sucker, you.
That's why we live here. I have King 8 off.
Okay. Hey, the game of poker doesn't mean that you have to play every hand. You're probably, Eric, now, I remember when we first started way back when, and compared to when you first started and you wanted to play a lot of hands and you really didn't know how to play a lot of hands, you should probably, in my estimation, be somewhere, counting the blind hands you play, I would think you're probably in the 12 to 16 area about right now. Percentage of the hands you play pre-flop.
Sounds.
Do you have a HUD or a poker tracker?
I do not.
Okay, well, we have to ask to Kripney when he watches this if he can look at the numbers that are on your name, because he's got a converter and he's probably running it right now. He's not in the air today, but because he's probably at a lot of tables, but he'll play this tape, I'm sure, later on, and when he does, maybe he'll get back to me and tell me what numbers you show, or the next time I'll ask him.
Sounds good. I've been at the table as long as he has today.
Okay.
So I'm sure he has some info on me. I have 7-4 suited.
Okay. Not a great hand. A lot of people fall in love because they're suited cards. If it was 7-5, I'd feel a lot better. If it was 4-5, I'd feel really great that it was suited. 4-7 is not a hand that I'm in love with. As Peter from Australia would say, the goalposts are a little wider than you want them. There's too much separation between the two cards. It's a gap like David Letterman's grill,
Yeah.
Did you get to watch the Super Bowl yesterday, or you're not a football fan?
Oh yeah, I watched it. Had a few friends over.
Did you a Denver fan or you are Carolina?
I like the Bills, but I'm an AFC guy for the Super Bowl. So.
Yo, so you get disappointed 5 times by the Bills, right?
Yes. Yes, 4 in a row. Pretty painful.
4 in a row, yeah. Jim Kelly and great coach. Just didn't get it done, but he was a very great coach to get Buffalo to the championship all those years and everything. And then of course you got a kicker that can't kick a field goal. Terry Norwood, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
See, I know my football. I watch a little football.
Nice. I play a lot of fantasy too.
Ah, I do too, but it ain't football. Oh, that's another story for another time.
I
Come on, Nick, you're supposed to laugh at those jokes.
have 5-2 off.
I gotta meet up with Nick down at the Horseshoe or Maryland Live one day, or have him come up to Hollywood Poker here by my house.
Yeah, I'm turning 21 this November, so
All right. You're gonna get your game in order and go down and crush him, right?
I hope so.
Nick, do me a favor and try something for me in chat. Just type in there, try to type in my email address if you know what it is, alspath@alspath.com. I just want to see if the Nightbot that I got, if it just stops you from doing that or not
Okay.
in the Twitch. I've had Ryan, who's helped. If anybody wants to stream or anything, Ryan is the guy that. Oh, see, it did it. It allowed that, and I don't know why it would allow that. So that's something I got to ask him about. All right, how about put in something like a curse word?
Okay.
Doo doo.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, stop that. All right, how about a www.com, anything like www.fullflushpoker.com or something like that. Just see if it will accept it.
I have ace-8 suited.
All right, suited ace-8. Okay, that helped me, Nick. Thanks so much.
No problem.
If I'm
Ace-8 suited.
first in, I'm gonna make a pot bet.
All right, think about that now. Think about it now. If you're first in from your position, which is pretty early still, do you want to go pot?
I'll go a little more, $1.
Okay. Not telling you what to do. I'm just asking you the question. And I think that the dollar serves you better there when you're in early position and so many people yet to act. Puts a little bit more pressure on them, and you're really trying to get the Cryptony and the Goblets out. Now you've got the button. So if you bet the pot and it was 60 cents, you may have had one of those two calling, even though they had maybe a weaker hand than you. You don't know that, and then they have position on you. So you gain so much by adding a few extra cents and taking position, and now you just took 35 cents instead, right?
Yep.
And you had a
Not,
crap. I mean, you
not
had.
the end I usually play though.
Yeah.
I have 6-2 off.
Right. You know what? I'm going to give you guys the reign here. I'm going to let you talk for a second because Al has to use the restroom, and I'll be back, everybody. Go ahead. You guys talk about the hands.
Alrighty. So we got Leo coming in at $1.50 with a quick snap collar. So a straight draw on the board. Comes in for half pot. Mitzi calls again. Now he checks. Mitzi comes in with a half pot bet. And takes it down. I think Leo showed a sign of weakness to check there. I have Queen 7 off and folding. Have you been playing long, Nick?
About a month.
A month?
Yeah.
I think I've been playing almost 2 years.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, not compared to some of these other guys like Al, though, you know?
Yeah, well, Al's an old fart, isn't he? I know that guy. He is old. I was going to ask you another question. What was the question? I don't remember. I can't remember.
Tell me what you think about the heads-up software, if it's worth, investing in or not.
Well, wait for Jerry Decryptony there. He's got a conversion. He's got a hold'em manager type
But
poker
does he
tracker.
charge for it?
He's got one that works here on full flush. That's going to be very good. He's got a bunch of people working on it and everything. And it should be out in the next month or so, I think.
Gotcha. I have queen 5 off. I'm
Yeah.
fold.
I think he's got a beta test. Now he raised and Nagopoulos called. So let's say Jerry, which Jerry will throw a raise in there with pocket fours or 7-6. Now because Nagopoulos just checked there, Jerry might try to take this pot with a small bet, and he didn't get away with it there.
What do you put him on?
Well, at first I put him on something like just pair of fours, 5-6, or something like that. Because Jerry's a very wide range player. I didn't put him on something. He could have had really something good there, but I just didn't think he did. He hasn't played a lot of hands here. I think he just wanted to do something.
I got pocket kings again.
Okay, well, you got a limper that you want to take advantage of, and now you got Leo coming in, probably, unless he's playing. Well, it's timing out. He's probably playing too many tables, so he's probably going to fold. Remember, you're going to be out of position. Yeah, I'd probably make it a little bit more because I'm out of position here. You do want to call her, but I might have made it a little bit more. This is going to work out for you if he calls you. You don't want him out, really, do you? It's okay. He stayed. He did that fast. He told you a lot of information, and you got to interpret it.
Okay. I think he's on a draw for the hearts.
Make your play. Don't time out. If he's on a draw for the hearts, that's a big ass bet for him to call with one card to come. So if you really did think he had the hearts there, that bet should have been more like $5 or something, 2/3 of the pot. You want to keep him in, but not give him great odds. He's only got an 18% chance of making his flush on the river.
Gotcha.
So he's only going to make it 1 in 5 times. So,
should have been a 3/4 pot bet there.
Well, maybe even a little bit less than that. Somewhere you made $7. I would have said something like $5. Maybe 2/3 would have been fine there. I think
Okay.
half would have been too small. What do you have? You there, Nick?
Yes, I'm here.
I didn't hear Eric. What did he say he had?
Sorry. Ace king suited.
Okay. You didn't say anything, but I was going to try to guess what you had. I think what we're going to do for the next part of the session is you do what you're going to do. Don't tell us the cards, and I'm going to ask Nick what he thinks you have, and I'm going to say what I think you have, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay.
So we know you got ace king this time. Chances of that person having 9 are slim. See, I would probably have checked their back, showing that I was afraid of that board. I doubt seriously if the Classy has either one of those cards, and then they would have bet maybe the turn. Now they got check to you, but now it's too late. You got to keep doing what you're doing. So sometimes when I think I've got the other person, I try to trap them to get their whole stack. He's saying
That's a 9, huh?
he's saying he's got ace 9, but I can't tell you what I think he has.
Yeah.
Are you calling?
I don't think so.
Whoa.
Okay, well,
I thought
may-
king. You got the 9, and you got a boat. You got lucky on the end, but I didn't think he had the 9. I honestly thought he had king jack, king queen that time. Because he only had less than $10, and you were in so deep. I would probably have to see that 9 just like you did, and then if I got lucky, fine. If I didn't get lucky, so be it.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking.
You were thinking the same thing, Nick?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough to let that one just go like that. But you did.
Yeah, that was a nice hand, Eric.
I heard Al make a big sigh, and
Yeah, when you said you were going to fold, I was saying, Oh, I don't know. I just can't give that guy credit for the nine there. He had it. He had it. You know, it's. Remember, he you raised and he called you with the 8-9. It was tough. You know, I mean, there's Kite Surfer, another toughie that just sat down at the table.
Do you want to know what I have, or if
No,
I'm
no, you
playing?
just
Oh,
only if you're folding.
okay, I folded a 10-7 off.
Okay, yeah, only the folds. We want you to play the hand, and we'll try to guess what you're doing with what, and you just do what you normally would do. Don't try to trick us.
Okay.
See if Kite Surfer comes into the room or not.
I'm
Nick, did you?
folding 10-3 off.
Okay, Nick, did you get an email tonight when I went live?
Yes, I did.
And
I,
what was do you know what it said as the title?
Um, no. Let me check though.
Okay. This is an automatic raise from DeCryptney here. I don't, and he's not paying attention. See, he's on the button there. He's got Nagopoulos there. He's got, oh, Nagopoulos left, excuse me. Sunny Sweet, I didn't even notice that. But when you're on the button, you got to, 70-80% of the time, just one raise is going to win you 35 cents. You got to try to do it.
I'm folding 9-3
Yep,
suited.
yep.
Yeah, the email is said like tonight's live stream shadowing Eric and Nick cash tables and
Oh,
this
good.
in their conversation. With,
All right, good. That's the word I wanted to get out.
Yeah.
See, that Bob's bet is a stupid bet, in my opinion. Why does a person just limp in late like that unless they're needing help to improve their hand? Esquire or somebody should have raised rather than just called or checked. And now they're gonna check. Again, Esquire got a bet. It might be too late to bet, and he bets 29 cents, which is really a small bet. He had ace-7. Bob had ace-7, see? He limped and he told you that he had a suited ace, he had a connector, he had, ace-x, he had a little pair. People tell you that. He's doing it again right there. You've got to give him hardly credit. The only time you want to worry about Bob when he does that is when the flop comes 3 to a suit. Then he might be in his wheelhouse. Somebody new coming into the table. Nick, if you don't play 10 cent 25, Nick, because you're still trying to build up your bankroll, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Do you start any of the book? I know you started to read a book or something the other day. Did you start any of those books that you got your hands on?
Yes.
Okay, good. And then let me know later on how things are going.
Yeah.
70 cents is not the great. He's not sure of his hand there. It's a jack two. He wasn't sure if the other guy had a straight or a flush, so he just didn't put the bet out there that said, I got a really quality hand. So sometimes I'm interpreting those bets that are not very big as being, I'm a little timid, I'm a little afraid what's going on. See, here's a couple more limpers. DeCryptney should be betting like $1.10 right here, $1.25. If he's got a hand, he would do that.
Leo might raise if everyone just.
I think that Kite Surfer or Leo would put in. No, there's a good shot for Leo to put like $2 or $3 in here and just take this down, and he doesn't do it. Now that's the hand. This is the hand that I'm telling you guys about. That this favors Bob. Because he's either could be on a small pair and hit a set, or he's got the flush already. But he checked that with an automatic check. If you watch the speed of it, so in other words, if Nola would have bet there, Bob would have folded because he pressed the check or fold button. So I tend to think that Bob gave up on this already, but we'll see here when it comes around to him. Kite may have hit something really good, like pair. He was in a small blind, or he hit two little flush cards, and then he. Yeah, see, Bob got out of it. He told me on the first time around, I was watching as a timing tell who uses the automatic buttons and who doesn't. Nagopoulos changes his perspective and comes to a different seat. And there's the two from Kite. Now, see, he did flush it. Wow, and the other guy had the nut flush. That's a tough one for the Kite man. Don't tell us. Oh, okay, you're folding. Okay, you can tell.
Ace six off.
Ever since we said don't tell us, you haven't had a hand.
I know.
You haven't played one hand, but that's okay. You know what? You're doing great. You're having a great session. We've been here for just about 40 minutes, maybe. No longer than that, and you're doing fine. You don't have to play all the hands. Remember, it's not how many you play, it's how many hands you win that you play. You want to win the largest percentage of the hands, and you don't want to be taking these little baby pots. You want nice pots. You took a couple of nice bites of the apple on this night.
I was just gonna say you want to maximize the few good hands that you get.
That's right. That's what I was talking about earlier when I said when you have the kings or the queens, you want to make a bet that keeps somebody in, but you don't want to drive everybody out because you've got to take a chance. Now, if they spike and they beat you, that's the game of poker. But if they're behind you to begin with, you've got to give them a thin line, a marginal line to stay in, and yet not give them the odds. Are you playing this one?
If no one raises.
Okay, so you got something probably like Jack 4. What do you have?
9-5 off.
Yes, it's a piece of crap. Yeah, I can listen to your voice and kind of judge about what the hand is. When you said that if nobody raises, it had to be pretty crappy. When I teach live, like when we go to a casino, like if I was with Nick and we were playing down at the Horseshoe or over at Maryland Live, me and him would go to a new table. We'd sit kind of like next to each other, and if I was in a hand and he was not, I would look at my cards with if he was to my left, I'd look at my cards with my right hand, so when I looked at him, he could really see my cards, and he would just play along in his head, see what I'm doing, and we'd talk about it later on. And same thing if I folded, and if he was to my left, he would hold his cards in his left hand, and as he looked at him, his right hand wouldn't be in my way, and I would see him, and then I'd watch what he does, how much he bets, what he's doing on those kind of hands, and then we talk a little bit later about what he should have done, what he shouldn't have done, and things like that. It's not that I'm helping him at the table or anything like that, but I'm conscious of what he's doing. Yeah. So I think you've got ace, queen, or pocket tens here. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I think he has like pocket jacks or ace, queen, ace, king type man.
What do you got?
Pocket nines.
All right, and I put you on pocket tens. Right?
Yep.
That's close enough for me to be in the ballgame. If I can put my opponents in a group of hands and I know exactly where they're at, then I can judge what I want to pay and how to get away from the hand or take that hand away from you. When that ace came, if I put you on those hands and I didn't think you had the ace anymore, maybe the nine, then I got a chance of taking that away from you.
Here at the local casino, they won't let you talk while you're playing,
No, I don't talk. I don't talk while playing.
Okay.
No, we just know ahead of time that if we're both in a hand, we don't say no. We don't tip the cards or anything like that. But if I'm out of the hand, then when he looks, or you, if you're to my left, if you look at your cards, I can see them because you're going to use one hand to look at your cards. You're going to shield them from everybody else, but I can see them because I'll see them. And the same thing goes if I'm in a hand and if I raise and then you fold, then I'll look at my cards again and you'll see what I'm raising with.
Mostly here for tournaments and cash tables, they mostly have the video table.
Yeah.
They don't use a physical deck,
Uh-huh. This week I'm going to have, you guys don't want to miss it, I'm going to have Brad Wilson on this week. He's from Enhance Your Edge. He's a poker. I'm going to say, this is late position here, I'm going to say king 10, ace 10, pocket sixes. Nick?
Yeah, I think he has the same kind of
What do you
hand.
got there, Eric?
Queen 10 suited.
All right, I said King 10 was my first one, and you turned out to be Queen 10. So that's pretty close for me, huh? That's what you got to do. You got to work on types of hands, a group of 3 or 4 hands, and then narrow it down based on betting, based on position, based on flop texture, what happens, you know. But you got to start somewhere. You got to have a hypothetical in your mind. You know what like if this guy came in here, what is the most likely type hands he has? Ace king, ace queen. Until you find out they're playing a really wide range, you got to give them credit for having something in early position, and less credit when they come in like you did from late position. So you got to suppose a lot. You win $1 here, and I'm going to say that you've got probably, don't tell us, king, queen, ace nine, uh, queen, jack.
Yeah, I would say ace five or something like that. Jack 10.
Pocket queen.
Whoa, he had a monster. He had a monster. See, you know, none of us are going to give you credit for the monster in the back when you do that. When you don't, you know, raise differently than you raised the last time. So you did it right. So we put you on a lesser hand because it was a late raise, and we don't put you on the powerhouse. You don't want to try to do something different and alert people that you know you do or you don't have a particular hand.
Sure.
Kite's having a rough time of it, but you don't want to check to Bob. Bob's a calling station. Make him pay all the way. That could be a bluff. Ooh, he hit the 10. That could have been a bluff there at the end. He got lucky, man. And he gave Bob a free card there. If Bob would have fired on the turn, I don't think Kite would have been around to catch his 10 on the river because the king was facing him, and he would have thought that Bob had the king. So when somebody checks and they're out of position, you got to fire. They're saying, I surrender. And if you don't let them surrender, they may catch their card on the next round.
Do you like the re-raise amount from 60 to 95?
No, what tells me that Nola's got is either pocket aces or a big ace king or something like that. Then he checked the turn and then he's going to win. I think he had 3 aces. I think he gave Kite an opportunity there. I don't think he was worried about the 2 diamonds and the flush draw because Kite had raised originally. Most people don't raise with a flush draw hand. They usually raise with big cards or big pairs.
And don't you think that min raises can mean really big hands?
They can. And a lot of people, though, do the opposite, whether it be tournament or cash. They do it to make you think that even when they don't have it. So don't always fall for it as saying that they do have it. You got to know the player from whatever else they've been doing. If you watched Nola earlier, he was min raising and he was doing some. All of a sudden, you know, he doesn't break the pattern there. So it's hard for me to determine if he's still playing the same way or not.
What about on a higher stakes table?
On a higher stakes table,
Would they
yeah.
not min raise with nothing more than
No,
had a huge hand?
no, because on a large table, a lot of people will stay with middle pair, bottom pair, hoping to hit their other card, and you don't want to give an opportunity with a min raise to keep somebody in there so they can catch 2 pair and beat your over pair or your 1 pair.
Right. And I noticed there's less limping at the higher limits also.
As you go up, and your next step, you know, somewhere down the line is when you get really comfortable here and you build your stack is going to. Your comfort zone is going to be here and the next level. That's where you're going to be this next year. I can guarantee you that right now, just based on you know what you're saying, what you've been doing, and stuff like that. And that's nothing wrong with it. Do you remember me doing 2 Isles and Sharon a couple weeks ago? We did the same thing with them, the shadowing thing.
Absolutely.
She's gone to Vegas. She won when she was down in Florida, 2 Isles, and she's been up in Vegas the other day. During the Super Bowl, she sat with 25 and left with $100. She sat with 25 the day before that and left with $175 twice. she is really making an effort not to play so many hands, not to draw so much, and to raise appropriately and not play, inconsistently. And she's starting to really build her bankroll up. And if she doesn't get out of control, I warned her, or cautioned her, I should say. I didn't take warn her. I didn't shake my finger out. I promise. I cautioned her. Don't, just because you win, all of a sudden think you can rule the world. You're going to get no cards, and you're going to find out you got to do this and that. Just don't start automatically playing a little bit too wide, thinking, well, you've got the respect of the table. You can get away with this hand that you've been throwing away in the garbage because it's no good. So just be careful when that happens. And we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks and see if she really maintains the discipline. I'll hear from her. She'll watch this video. She'll listen. Yeah, limp. See, there's Bob again. If you don't have a note on Bob, this note here, I've never seen him, but he's a limper and a caller. So when I put that on my notes and everything, and this guy all of a sudden, like right then, if Bob would have raised, if I was Leo, I'd throw my hand away, because that means Bob hit his 5-6, or he hit his pocket fours and he hit something. So when Bob comes over the top of you, you better watch out, because he doesn't show those type traits. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, it's a table where we have to be aware of everything. This is positive poker. We'll think, oh, there we go. 5-6, he flopped it. Woo! That's a beautiful one. See, A7 shouldn't be in there. He might say, well, Leo's crazy playing the 5-6, but Leo's in the blind. But A7 offsuit is a crappy hand. Crappy hands lead you to crappy victories. They don't come.
Did Leo call a raise from the big blind or from the small blind?
No, Sonny Swede up there, I don't know I think he limped with it.
Okay.
I think, yeah, when you watch it over, you can check for yourself. I'm not sure.
It seems like Leo plays any two cards.
Well, Leo plays a lot of any two cards, yes.
Yeah.
Especially in position. That's why when I'm playing against Leo, I always make my bets bigger, because I want him to pay more. I have to do that against Ryan, also Posse 1972, because he likes to see, Decryptny likes to see flops. He likes to make plays. They like to float. They like to do things after the flop. So I got to make sure that they have to pay a lot of money with their weak ass hands.
Seems like Jerry bets a lot when he raises.
He does. He's strictly, or mostly, I should say, watching that heads-up display and that hold'em manager, and he's basing it on how often his opponents voluntarily put money into the pot, how often they will 2-bet or 3-bet or anything like that. So he relies on statistics a lot.
And somebody mentioned that he only plays like the top 5 hands.
No, that's not true. That's not true. And I watched him one day. He shared his screen with me. He was playing 42 tables at once.
Jesus.
42.
Yeah.
I can't hardly play 3.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I played 3 yesterday, I think it was, and I was just driving myself crazy going back and forth.
So he has like multiple monitors.
What I have only one monitor. A lot of people have multiple monitors. I only have one monitor.
Jerry has about 4 or 5.
Jerry has like, I think 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he might be playing like 10 tables on this site, and he might be playing 10 tables over at True, and he might be playing 10 tables at Bravada. Yeah, it's just each screen has a different site on it.
Gotcha.
I won't tell you what he told me he averages a day, though, for a time or what he wins, but make you guys sick.
Does he work?
I think this is all he does, is work on IT. He's got a whole IT crew and stuff like that. All right, Nagopoulos makes it 60, and I see that our man Jedi is thinking about the bet, and I think he's going to bet about $1.85 here. I think he's really picked up an ace-king or something. No, he only calls, so now I'm going to think he has something like 7s or maybe even ace-jack suited. What do you think he has, Nick?
Probably tens or jacks.
Okay, what do you got?
King, queen off.
King, queen off. See, you need to raise and take something away from him. You got a nice flop here, unless he has ace queen. But when you call like that, you'd love it when he checks. See, the Kripke would try something here, but he's not going to try it with you. I don't think he would do it to Negapolis, but I don't think he's going to do it to you. And you're loaded anyhow, so you don't have to worry whatever efforts he does. They're both going to check out of this. But if you would have raised that pre-flop rather than call, they both would have called you, and you'd have won that money. And when the flop came, they might have tried to bluff you, but you would have got the money pre-flop. So you lost money by calling.
But to me, it was only a mediocre hand.
Then don't play it. If you say that to yourself again, anytime that I'm not with you, and you say it's a mediocre hand, I don't want you to play it. If you can't raise with it, look for a reason to fold with it, okay?
Sure.
Don't look for a reason to call a raise.
I do try not to limp, you know.
Well, you did. That's limping. When you call a raise like that, that's like limping, okay?
Flatting someone.
You gotta raise that guy, or you gotta fold that hand. Calling with that hand is not good. Now, if there was 5 or 6 people in, and you wanted to see a flop with it because you wanted to play it multi-way, I can understand it, but
only when the money's better than 4 to 1.
what's that? I don't get that.
The more people that are in, you might want to take a chance on a mediocre hand because the money that's already in the pot.
Listen, Queen King to you said it's mediocre. It's mediocre when you're thinking about Group 1 hands, but it's not really a real mediocre. It's probably better than mediocre. Especially when Negapolis came in and he was in late position and he raised you, he could have had anything. So your Queen King is probably much better. You know, if mediocre's 50 on a scale of 1 to 100, and aces and kings are 100, and your Queen King is probably somewhere in the 70 to 75 range, which isn't bad, and that's better than mediocre. Mediocre to me would be in the 50 to 55 range. Okay?
Yep.
And I don't want to play those hands that are 50%. I don't want to flip the people. I don't want to have to need a lot. So
maybe I'm not valuing it as much as I should.
Well, in early position, it becomes really a mediocre hand. I mean, because it can get beat up so many times by so many people yet to act. So depends on your position and your opponent. Nick, you following all this tonight?
Yeah.
And do you play the video back when I put it up on YouTube so that you can hear an explanation or stop it or anything like that?
I do.
Okay. I did one this morning also at a 10 cent, 25 cent 6-player table, and I put it up this afternoon. I didn't post it on Facebook or anywhere yet, or put it out on Twitter, but there's one from this morning, and I got another 50 cent $1 one from last night, and I'll have this.
I watched that one.
What, today?
Yeah, today, in the morning.
I put the 51 up? Is it brand?
The one you did today.
10 cent 25.
Right, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, I didn't think I got to the 50 yet. Okay. I'm going to be coming out, I'm not saying it for you guys here or anything like that, but I'll be coming out in a week or so with another promo for
February?
Well, it'll be from 15 February to 15 March, and I'll be offering some kind of deals for some people, a reduced rate on different type things. I'm also going to be offering, it doesn't affect you guys, but I'm going to be offering I'm going to see what you're going to do here. You look like you're going to bet this hand. I think you got maybe ace queen here, maybe pocket. No, you got aces. What do you got?
You want to know?
Yeah.
Ace king off.
Ace king off. You got a big hand. All of a sudden, you did a 76-cent bet. I would be, all the bells and whistles would be going off in my head. This guy's picked up a top hand here. So you changed your pattern. See, that should be $1, just like you normally do in early position. That's what you've been doing. And now you got this guy in, and now you got Leo, who loves to come with hands like Queen 10 and 10 Jack. You win. That's right. You've got a fire there, just in case he does miss. Absolutely. That's why you
Try,
raise.
try to do it fast too.
That's right. The faster you do it, the less time they have to think about it, the more pressure you put on. But anyhow, I'm going to run a class of 4 or 5 sessions where somebody that wants to be the first class is going to be on those that want to be a coach or start training people and things like that have a lot of skills that have been doing it for a while but aren't there yet and need some hands-on training on that. And then the other one's going to be for those that are going to want to Twitch their own streams. A lot of people like to do what we're doing tonight or what I'm doing tonight and talk, and they may get people to follow them, in fact, and stuff like that. So they want to stream either for their own benefit to watch it or just to have it or just to see if they can get a following. So I'm going to offer a class also on that for those people that want to get into that. I'll have all the details on it in the next week, but I've been pretty busy on some things and I haven't got around to it, but I'm working on it. And then there'll be something else about either shadowing or, one-on-one coaching. So I'll put it up on Facebook at Positive Poker Insiders. I'll put it on Twitter on POSPOKR Insiders, which is Positive Poker Insider. I had abbreviated there because you only get so many characters. All right, Nick, it's up to you now. The rest, a couple of hands, we're going to go around here, around the board again. We're going to go once more around the board, and I want you to put. You just jump in when you see him do anything here and tell me what he's got. He checked there. What do you get? What does he got?
Probably like he wasn't a big blind, so
He was big blind. He was big blind.
yeah. I would say like 10-7 or 9-5.
I would have said 10-7 or maybe even something worse like 5 deuce. What did you have there?
8-6.
8-6. Not too good. That's pretty good, Nick. And when a big blind checks to a limper, normally they've got a piece of crap. Because if they see the limper, they should be attacking them if they have an ace or if they have painted cards or anything like that.
Right.
So you have to just assume a few things when you see somebody check or if they bet. How you guys, did you get a chance to look at the new layout, the new format there? We
Blue
changed
screen.
the blue screen. Yeah, we changed it a little bit. We added a couple of things along the side. You can see where Posse's 1972, who does the overlays. We put that there. So everything's coming together, I think.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thanks. So you got in this pot, and you're going to check, and then this guy bets 50 cents. See, that was a bad bet on his part. I don't really think he had the king there. What did you have?
10-5.
Yeah, you just, how did you get in that pot with 10-5? You were the small blind.
I limped.
Oof. See, that's a hand I wouldn't limp with. That's just
6-3 off.
Okay. So here is a place you were on the button. 70% of the time you're going to win this if you just raise it to $1. So if you raise it to $1, you're going to win 35 cents more than likely from these two guys. So it doesn't matter about the cards. It just matters about the position. But in this particular case, you got Bob the calling station, and when you get Bob the calling station, it's more difficult to get them out of the hand. So I don't have a problem with you folding there. Once you just analyze, hey, look, I'm on the button, I can steal most of the time, get away with it. But when you say, oh, but the guy that's in the big blind is a calling station, I probably can't budge him, then you might want to have a little better hand. Now, you can stay at this table when we're done. We're going to go around to your so you don't post the big blind, or you can take the auto post off, but it's up to you. But we'll call it quits when it comes around next time. We're just about, we're over an hour now, and by the time there will be a little bit longer. So I think that's a good session for both of you. What do you think?
Oh, that's great. Yeah, sounds good. I doubled up, so I'm ready to get out.
Okay. Now, I'm telling you what I told the guy the other day. I was playing live, and he was in a hand with some guy, and this guy had really been winning. We were playing 1-2, and he had about 900 in front of him. And he says to me, man, I was going to, the guy with 900 made a like $60 bet, and the other guy folded. And he says to me, he says, I was going to come over the top of him there, but I didn't think I could get him to fold. And I said, well, look at his left hand. He said, well, what about his left hand? I said, he's got a rack in his left hand. He's getting ready to put his chips in the rack. He's getting ready to leave. You come over the top of him for $100 or something like that. He's not going to give up 200 or 300. He spent all day getting up to $900 here. He sat with probably 300. He's probably a $600-700 winner here. He's not going to give 200 or 300. If he's trying something back there for the 60, you can take it away from him because he's not going to risk all he won all day. And the guy says, I don't know if that's true or not, but I'll keep it in mind. The very next hand, the same thing happened. Same two guys. Guy in the back with the big money bet 75. The guy I just told it to bets. I think it was 185. Guy went in the tank for a little while. Turned over his pocket nines and gave it up. The guy that went over the top of him didn't have crap but a gut shot redraw. And he looked at me and he said, I owe you a quarter. So he gave me a green chip later on. He said, well, that was a good tip. I never even thought about people that are leaving like to, just like you said, you're leaving and you doubled up. As soon as you said that, the first thing that came to my mind is you're going to put the brakes on a lot of hands here. You're going to make sure you just want to leave now with a double up. Unless the cards are good, you're probably going to stay out of these hands because you don't want to ruin the session. And that's the mindset that people do when they figure out they're getting ready to leave.
Is that good or bad?
That's bad.
Yeah.
I don't like that call there. What do you think Esquire has here? Do you think he has the queen, the jack, or the spades?
I would say spades.
Okay.
I think there's a jack.
That's a bet that says I have the jack.
Mm-hmm.
No, he had the spades. Who said spades?
That was me.
Yeah, you got it. Wow, that's good.
I knew one of them had a jack.
Yeah, but his bet there was saying I have that, and that was a good try on his bet. He just ran. The other guy doesn't have the jack. Of course, he wins that hand. Good, Nick. See, you don't have to be see. That's what I'm trying to train both you and those that are watching up on YouTube. Is when you're not in the hand, you still can learn by watching other people and trying to put players on hand and watching their bet sizes and then figuring out, like right here, this 98 into the 130, and he's out of position. He's saying, I've got either the draw, I've got the top pair here. And now let's see what he does. If he goes half pot, or if the 10 slows him down, if he goes less than half pot. So he went half pot there. So that changes everything. Then he checks because the club comes at the end. So I would think that Esquire has a 9. 7, 8, he had a straight. He made a straight.
Wow.
I would have thought he had the 9, but I wouldn't have bet at the end there with the flush card. But he should have bet something. He left money on the table. But you gotta guess, and sometimes you're gonna be absolutely wrong. Sometimes you're gonna be right on the ballpark. But you gotta keep doing that based on their bet sizes. And now you know about Esquire there, that he hit a straight on the end and he checked. So when he hits the hand on the end, he goes for a check raise, or he might have been scared of the flush, thinking that the other guy stayed all the way with the flush, and that's why he did it. But maybe he could have even been pushed off that straight, if he was afraid of the flush. See, now there he's betting 2/3. He's out of position, but he bet that like, it was stronger. But again, that's a stronger bet from him. That's not his normal bet. Maybe he has 5-4. Maybe he hit something different. He should re-raise here if he had 2 pair and not call.
I think he has like king 10 or.
Okay, could have king 10, could have clubs. If he had clubs, he'd fold here. He's going to call. and we don't get to see it, do we? I hate that. I thought the other guy could have had that, but I didn't know for sure. All right, you got one more hand coming, Mr. Jedi Master.
Yep. Aloha.
Well, you don't have to do what I do.
I know.
Whoa, Kite. Now, Kite would do this with King Jack. Kite would do this with the Ace Rag.
Ah.
Nigopolis knows him and is jumping right in there. Now, see, that automatically gets 3 of them to come in. Now, let's see what Kite does. Let's see if he really goes 750, or he goes the whole pot.
So you think he was trying to steal because everyone limped?
He might, but I think he has the king. I think he has King Jack or King Queen there at least.
Gotcha.
I don't think he bets 850 without it. I really don't.
All right, Al, that was a great session. Thank you.
All right. Hey, listen, you guys are welcome. I appreciate it very much. Those of you that are watching up on YouTube, please come to Positive Poker Insiders with an S on Twitch and follow us. Get notifications when we go live. And maybe you're the next person that can be a star on the internet circus. Take care, everybody. Thank you again, Nick. Thank you, Eric.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Al. Have a good one.
All right.
You too.
All the best.